Could somebody, yeah. Thank you very much for your introduction. I am particularly grateful for the Army for inviting me for this seminar. A very fine process that has been set by Sri Lankan Army, and certainly a very useful forum for all of us. Before I take on to my talk, a few comments about what has been said earlier. When you have war on your borders, and you have two of them in 2 decades, you don't know what happens to the country and to its social fabric at the very core of it. And particularly when the two wars are fought for on two different ideological planes, it just tears apart your country and unleashes forces which the country cannot control. You know what happened with Syria, and there's so much of outpour of organizations which those countries cannot control now. We had 2 full-blown wars that Pakistan sustained, and the country suffered. But necessarily what happened there was not the doing of Pakistan, nor Pakistan supports what was happening there. But we were sucked into the war, the vacuum was created, and we suffered that vacuum. Somebody said, all the terrorism comes from Pakistan. Yes, it comes from Pakistan. So why Pakistanis were being killed? We were paying them to kill us? I really don't understand that logic. And which is the lead country in the world today which is going after terrorism? Please read the international writings on this, and the history will tell you, mark my words, which country has done most for terrorism. The other thing is, we till today house 3 million Afghans. It must be known. You can't go around bashing Pakistan just like that. We don't take it politely. I may be a little emotional on this, but this is a fact. Pakistan must be taken as it is and not through the lens of media and people who casually pass a remark on this country. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm grateful for being invited here for this talk. I'll quickly get to the subject of emerging world order, and then get to Pakistan's perspective into the challenges that this world order brings to us, and talk about what position government of Pakistan is taking on these issues to settle or to handle or move forward with emerging and evolving environment. The first definition that I got across was of the emerging world order was that it has been referred to any period of history signifying dramatic changes in world political thought and balance of power. The term is primarily associated with the notion of global governance with an aim to identify, understand, or address worldwide problems that go beyond the capacity of individual nation states to solve. One of the first well-known Western usage of the term was in Woodrow Wilson's 14 points at the end of World War I. More recently, the term was used at the end of the Gulf War to define the very nature of post-Cold War era. Ladies and gentlemen, it is important to note that today's emerging world is greatly defined, shaped, as well as driven by the forces of globalization. Importantly, our world has remained globalized over its history also, but off and on there were factors which were controlling it. However, the extent or scale that these factors were influencing the world have continued to vary. The major waves of globalization have coincided with the rise and fall of civilizations. Today's world order is based on connectivity, interdependence, technological advancement, and all these things are rather fluid, evolving, and not under central control. This absence of central control, which the earlier speakers also brought out, is the dangerous point. Because earlier, when the world was not globalized in some parts of the history, it was not as dangerous because the nature could afford and had resources to sustain us. Today, we are eating away the resources of the nature, and the moment this global order begins to diminish, we'll be on each other's throat because enough resources are not out there. So this is the most dangerous factor of the emerging world order. Now in the present post-world order, we see a receding phase of post-World War II, manifesting itself in dilution of state authority, empowerment of non-state actors, and therefore emergence of competitive subnational narratives. The international system in the post-Cold War era is undergoing profound changes with challenges ranging from climate change, terrorism, economic slowdown, state dilution, threats of nuclear proliferation, population imbalance. I'm not saying population growth, population imbalance, energy shortages, and so many more. This is accompanied by a gradual erosion of unipolarity and rise of the rest as compared to the Western countries. We still don't know which rest will really take more control or lesser control or degree of control in their respective regions. The world is witnessing the advent of an Asian century manifested in high economic growth in China, India, and Southeast Asia. Gentlemen, you may mock at it, but the country which shows greater morality, people will fall behind that country, although there is no morality in national politics. Let me now move from this towards the internal and external challenges as are emerging in this order for Pakistan. Internal challenges posed by Pakistan in order of priority will be extremism and terrorism, internal stability, energy security, high population growth, drug trafficking, and sustainable development. They are all impacting our security. And I'll just add a word here about drug trafficking. It's an internal issue with us, but it's actually a global issue. And I wonder if you know what is the size of this global issue. The economy that the two centers of growth for drugs, that is Afghanistan and South America, they produce is about to the tune of $600 to $800 billion. Just imagine the effects of this $600 to $800 billion on your law enforcement. And it is not for a country to be able to resist this. It's impossible unless it's internationally taken as a case. On the external front, the challenges that we face pertaining to stabilization of Afghanistan, our relationship with India, unresolved issues of independence, instability in the Middle East, and climate change is really impacting us very badly. Like any other state, Pakistan is focused on promoting its national interests in the global community. We seek to strengthen our security and territorial integrity with zero tolerance for our sovereignty. And to this end, Pakistan seeks peaceful and cooperative relations with the entire global community to acquire its rightful place in the Committee of Nations. We think we have been denied this, and media has been at the forefront to do that. The realities are much different, and it will be known only to those who have traveled to Pakistan. Our geostrategic and geopolitical position ensures a prominent place for Pakistan in the global environment. Pakistan hopes to achieve its full economic potential by maintaining internal and regional stability to become a trade energy corridor between South Asia, Central Asia, and the Middle East. I would now move over to the government's vision to tackle multitudes of challenges we face in a comprehensive manner. The first, terrorism. We condemn it in all its forms and manifestations. Pakistan has rendered huge sacrifices in war against terror to bring peace to the region and the world. We have lost more than 60,000 lives. I really don't understand the logic of us being the centerpiece. My friend is sitting here, he has seen his men blowing into smithereens, and we have all gone through it, and our Sri Lankan friends know what it is. Our brave security personnel and civilians combined together, the death toll is over 70,000. The entire nation is committed to root out this menace. The economic losses in the last 15 years have crossed $100 billion. The present ongoing operations against the terrorists, Operation Zarb-e-Azb, has already taken down terrorist networks, disrupted their command and control systems. The National Action Plan drawn out by the government, which enjoys consensus across the national spectrum, gives us the necessary framework to counter terrorism effectively and decisively. I may also add here that we reject any notion of clash of civilization. We support constructive and serious dialogue among all religions to promote understanding, tolerance, and harmony. We remain committed to the UN-led efforts to support these objectives. Peace and security is a key foundational block for any developmental strategy that any country has. Without peace, policies cannot bear dividends. Pakistan has been facing formidable security challenges, particularly after 9/11. The National Internal Security Policy provides the framework to achieve this goal. The policy seeks to create a secure environment where life, property, civil liberty and socio-economic rights of the citizens are protected and they are able to live and prosper in harmony and freedom, respect and dignity, as enshrined in the Constitution of Pakistan. Extremism and terrorism have caused enormous loss to our society, economy and image. Recreating the spirit of peaceful coexistence, tolerance and unity is the key to our success. The next major problem plaguing us is energy security. We are a fossil fuel deficient country and our energy needs are projected to increase manyfold in the next 2 decades. The current shortfall in supply of energy has resulted in massive negative impact both at societal as well as economic well-being of the country. The Vision 2025 given out by the present political government aims at ensuring uninterrupted energy by 2018 to all quarters. Pakistan has a mix of energy production, that's why we are very low on carbon emission also. And we intend continuing this mix of hydel, solar, nuclear and coal generated plants. Currently we are completing 2 major hydel projects, Daimir Bhashu and Dasu Dam, completing 2 new nuclear plants and also aiming at early completion of Pakistan-Iran gas pipeline and TAPI. All this will greatly enhance our capacity to provide energy to our people. May I also add here that nuclear energy is a key plank of Pakistan's energy policy. Pakistan has a 4-decade-long experience of safe and secure operation of nuclear plants under IAEA safeguards. Therefore, we seek the removal of barriers on trade in peaceful nuclear technologies to meet our growing energy needs for socio-economic development, and we will continue to push for non-discriminatory and fair treatment from nuclear suppliers group, regarding access to peaceful nuclear technologies and membership of NSG. Moving to the next problem is managing large population. With a population of over 180 million, we are the 6th largest already. And by 2025, the population is estimated to be 227 million, with 63% forming part of the youth bulge. While working to lower the growth rate, the government plans to use this youth bulge to its advantage and is beginning to make plans for heavy investment in the skills and education of this manpower to get best advantage for the country. Drug trafficking. Due to concerted efforts by the government of Pakistan, the country has been declared a poppy-free country by UNODC since 2012. Gentlemen, anything less than 1,000 hectares is considered poppy-free for a country. Pakistan achieved this landmark in 2012. However, unchecked cultivation of poppy and production of drugs in Afghanistan continues to affect the very social fabric of our country. The southern part of the country is a major route for the drugs to proceed for the lucrative markets of Europe, Far East and Middle East. In our view, a coordinated regional and national approach is required to control this menace. Sustainable growth. Pakistan Vision 2025 seeks to elevate Pakistan's position from a lower middle income group country to an upper middle income group country, thus taking our GDP from present $1,300 to $4,200. An export-led growth strategy will be pursued to help achieve these ambitious targets. Now I move over to some of the external challenges that Pakistan faces, and the first is our relations with the big powers and neighbors. The central theme of the foreign policy of the government is on building a peaceful neighborhood. Accordingly, we are pursuing a policy of constructive engagement with all countries in the world, particularly our neighbors, aiming to improve relations with them in the region with enhanced cooperation with China, reaching out to India, sound relationship with the United States, EU, stronger bonds with the Muslim world, upgrading ties with Russia and West Asia, and correcting the country's negative image guides the Pakistan's foreign policy. With Afghanistan, the key tenets of our approach are non-interference, support for peace and reconciliation, and building a bilateral relationship marked by enhanced trade and economic cooperation. We are particularly concerned about our relationship in the Middle East and the ongoing conflict in Syria and Yemen, which is a threat to our regional stability. We support UN-led efforts there through peaceful dialogue for finding a lasting solution. With regard to regional cooperation, Pakistan attaches great importance to SAARC because its operationalization would only mean benefit to 1/5 of the humanity, and we keenly look forward to that. SAARC, Pakistan is hosting SAARC in 2016, and we hope it brings good results for the people of the region as a whole. The next issue is the regional connectivity. By virtue of our geographic location at the confluence of South Asia, West Asia and Central Asia, Pakistan is a natural economic corridor for region. Promoting regional connectivity is one of the pillars of our developmental strategy. The launching of China Economic Corridor is a pivotal plan of the developmental strategy, part of the developmental strategy. In this trade corridor, we will have roads, railways, fiber optic, cables, oil and gas pipeline between Western China and Pakistan, and it offers a unique opportunity for Pakistan to integrate with regional developments and become a hub for trade and manufacturing, with Gwadar as a free port. Ladies and gentlemen, I may just touch upon the Kashmir issue. It's a lingering issue, and Pakistan seeks to resolve this through dialogue with India. We keenly look forward to having serious dialogue to resolve this issue and move forward. Regarding the nuclear threat, nuclear proliferation that Pakistan has been condemned for, let me add here that we are now working under IAEA safeguards, and Pakistan Nuclear Regulatory Authority is completely in conformity with the UN IAEA standards, and Pakistan is cooperating fully with the international community to prevent and combat proliferation. With respect to the UN, we support a reform of the Security Council that would affect the interest of all member states, small, medium-sized and large, and should not serve the ambitions of a few. There should be no new permanent seats in the Council. This will be contrary to democratic character of the world body and its charter. We want the Council to become more representative, equitable and accountable. And now I move, ladies and gentlemen, to another realm which is outside the control of humans, but Pakistan is worst sufferer of this, and that is the global warming. Already in the last 5 years we have had the worst of the floods. The 2010 floods affected 20 million people who were rendered houseless. And annually we are seeing these floods with increasing devastation. Clearly these are the effects of global warming, and the international community should intensify its efforts to move from awareness to commitments to actions for climate change, which is not only playing havoc with our with floods, it is also rendering the country water stressed, and we are already having only 1,000 meter cube of water per capita as opposed to 5,000 about 20 years ago. Ladies and gentlemen, I end my statement by saying that Pakistan for long has been seen through others' eyes. It's time that it must be seen from the eyes of Pakistanis themselves. We are the 6th largest country in the world with a huge canal irrigation system comprising 60,000 kilometers, which gives us the unique ability to produce our food and also export it. We are the 6th largest producer of milk, 4th largest producer of cotton. We are the largest producer of footballs, tents and surgical instruments. There is the 2nd largest coal mine in Pakistan, huge mineral deposits, all ready to be tapped, and the government is fully functioning to tap these resources. To the region, we bring a message of peace and tranquility. Pakistan is willing to to work with the international community to make this world a better place for mankind. We only need to lift our eyes beyond our borders, think globally and act cooperatively. We can make this world a safer and prosperous place for us and for our coming generations. I leave two questions to you. Are our governments working more and more on merit or prejudice? Each one of us has to answer. Are the medias leading the government or the governments leading the media? I leave these two questions for you, and we all should stop blame game and look what best can be done for humanity. What was said by a speaker in the last session, the picture is very bleak. We have to be serious about this and look after the future of our children. Thank you very much.